Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to round 11 of the 2014 UltraNet Supercup season. My name is James Kirk. Lewis McGlade has either had a power cut, asleep, or he's just forgotten to turn up, so unfortunately you're just going to have to stick with my voice for this evening, but that shouldn't matter, because we have two races once again of what we hope to be high-octane action. We've had 10 absolutely brilliant rounds so far this season. This is round 11 of 17, now the last round before the annual GPVWC summer break of July. And we are sure that there's going to be lots of fireworks here as many drivers vie for final positions before the break, where the constructors hope to solidify positions before the break, where we have new drivers trying to see, what they can do in this field, and what also returning drivers can do in this field. The new drivers who I speak about, we have the likes of Jerne Simoncic, who is in for Oskari Kantonen for this round only, we believe. Kantonen, after his problems with his knee injury and with health issues, a major concern for him, he's decided to retire from all sim racing activity for the present. Jerne is in his position for only this round before they find a full-time replacement, we believe. But what a good replacement it was. Jerne taking pole on his debut here in Super Cup, and we've seen him do so many good things in Formula Challenge last year. Here he is today, taking pole position, looking to get some good points on the board for Adonis, who have fallen off the boil a little bit in previous rounds. Who else is new? We have Jarl Tyen, welcome to him, the Norwegian stepping in for Jesper Torborg in the Waters. Another new Waters driver, Alexander van der Woude, quite a steep learning curve for him as he makes his debut here in Super Cup. A lot of drivers being used by Waters, which is quite worrying. It's something that the league does look at. But hopefully those two will do well enough to make sure that Waters are being in touch of the guys above them in the Teams Championship. We also welcome Luke Zolk. I hope I haven't mispronounced your name, good sir. You'll have to tell me later. He's driving for Scuderia Basilia. I'm not sure whether that's a permanent appointment or not. May very well be. But also, we welcome back Mikko Sukas, the man who was looking so good early season with Street Fighter Racing Systems. Had a great job opportunity come up for him, for which he had to leave. He's now got a bit more free time. And he is in the car for Centurion Grand Prix, who are in desperate need of points, currently languishing at the bottom of the table by 20 points. Oh yes, and another new driver, Jonathan Osserklinth, coming in for either Nico Draconic or Brandon Warren. He's at Satellite Racing. So, we've got 1 minute left of warm-up here before we head into race 1, which is 40 laps long, one of the longest races on the calendar, Hungary. I'll take you through the top 10 of the Drivers' Championship. So, it's De Vries on 351, Muscat on 292, Pushkar on 254, Parker on 190, Geyer on 188, Kantonen on 181, Klont on 165, Siggy on 162, Tapper on 98, and Lopez on 89. And in the Teams Championship, it's Adonis Engineering still well out in front on 497. Then we have Simcraft and Satellite Racing in the battle for second position, 382 and 360 respectively. PB have been on a bit of a rise in recent events actually. Philip Pushkar's been doing the work as per usual, but Maurice Brackham has seen a great increase in form. And they are slowly dragging themselves back into the battle for second on 318 points. Then it's Positive on 241, Multiforce on 212, Street Fighter on 184, Storm on 169, FA on 145. And then you have the sub 100 teams of TSA on 93, Mazurek on 65, and then the battle at the bottom, Waters on 42, Fox on 34, Scuderia Basilia on 32, and Centurion, the aforementioned team, in last by 20 points on 12 points. And it's going to get scrappy down there at the bottom, I think. I can't actually tell who's going to be there by the end of it all, because all of a sudden they're finding drivers from somewhere to start reeling in those points. Waters, of course, had Jesper Torborg driving for them in Hockenheim, got some great points on the board, and Jarl Tyen qualifying in the top 10 for Waters, making it the second time in 2 rounds that the Waters team have had one car in the top 10. I think the last time they had it before Jesper was actually with Bart de Vos. Actually, no, it might have been Bart de Vos in the top 10 himself. Sorry, Bart, I forgot about that. Fox have been in and out. They had some great stuff with Roy Verzel in the car. Then he left because obviously he's got Formula Challenge commitments. Well, hey, he's driving Formula Challenge anymore, which is a shame anyway, but Fox need to find someone else, I think, to be able to keep up that points tally. Basilia had a bit of a points boost from Zandona in Silverstone, remember, though he's very much a one-time off driver. Everyone above Waters, though, is actually pretty safe, I'd say. Mazurek, TSA, FA, those guys, they all have decent drivers. They're all bringing in points most of the time. And I think, really, the battle at the bottom, the one thing which has really shaken things up is that appointment of Mikko Sukas to Centurion. The Finn doesn't look as fast as he was at the start of the season. And why would he be? He's had to get used to the car again. He was driving Formula Challenge yesterday for the Tanskanen team, I believe. But he's still a threat for points, and that is something which Centurion desperately need. So we are just
Attention, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
The race. As I say, 40 laps long, one of the longest races on the calendar, this one, so hold on tight because it's going to be a long and very twisty ride. Unfortunately, I won't be able to give you a lap of the Hungaroring because we simply don't have enough time. But as for who will win, looking at Simoncic's pace, it would be very hard to put anything past him. Where is he from now? He's either Slovenian or Serbian. I think he's Serbian. We'll go with him. We'll go with Serbian, and hopefully that's right. But anyway, all the drivers lining up on the grid now. And off we go then with Jerne Simoncic, his first pole position in Super Cup, and Adonis Engineering's first pole position. Quite some while. You have to go all the way back to Monaco to find their last pole position, which is taken by Askari Kantonen. Then it's Kevin Siggy on the front row once again is the Austrian. Really gotten the hang of these cars now. And he is in P2 with Philipp Puschke. German, who's always there or thereabouts in the top 5 in P3 with Emmanuel Gagzella. Another good position for Gagzella. P4 for Storm Racing, but it is his racing craft which has let him down this season. Guy starts P5 for Simcraft Racing. Well, they jumped there actually from Guy. He was languishing in the lower parts of the top 10 earlier on with Sven de Vries, championship leader in P6. We then have Jarl Tyen making his debut for Waters in P7 with Jason Muscat P8 for Adonis. Menno Klont is P9 for Multiforce with Mikko Sukas P10 for Centurion. Thank you very much for Askari. Simoncic is Slovenian. I knew he was from around there. So thank you very much, Askari. Then it's Tom Parker, P11 for Simcraft with Maurice Bracan P12 for PB. Pavel Oknovsky P13 for FA Racing with Fran Lopez P14 for Positive. Roy Verzels P15 for Fox Racing with Dawi Tapper P16 for Street Fighter. Scott Beresford's P17 for TSA with Ari Neiman P18 for Mazurek. Adrian McNaughton starts P19 for Storm Racing, and Oiv Helkinen rounds out the top 20 for FA. Santiago Niza's P21 for Street Fighter with Mike Bell's P22 for Mazurek. Yuriano P23 for Scuderia Basilia with Patrick Gatewood P24 for Multiforce. Disappointing considering his good upturn in form. Luke Salk starts P25 for Scuderia Basilia with Dan Rusu P26 for Centurion. Bruno Sousa Ferreira starts P27 for TSA with Jonathan Oscliffe P28 for Satellite. Christoph Lichtenstein is P29 for Fox Racing, and the grid is rounded out by Alexander van der Woude in the Waters Automotive car. Quite a few guys going on Prime, interestingly. Those to watch out for are Adrian McNaughton, Santiago Niza, Ferreira, Oscliffe and Lichtenstein. Everyone else on options though. And tyre strategy, I think, is going to be quite important here. We're expecting about 18 laps out of the option tyres around this circuit. With 40 laps, that might mean that we could very well be seeing 2 stops as the way to go. Depends what's quickest, I guess. And anyway, we look to the lights now with Jerne Simoncic. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights in here at the Hungaroring. We're racing, and it's a decent start by Simoncic. Gets off the line extremely well. Kimsiki walks down and tries to cut off Emmanuel Gagzella into the pit wall. Pushka gets a good start as well, and hurtling down into turn 1. We got a bit of people on the grass. Thankfully, everyone going around nice and cleanly. Lovely stuff. Everyone gets around okay. But Simoncic, great start with Pushka up into second. Siggy slow off the line, be able to hold off the advances of Gagzella, who's got Sven de Vries and Florian Guy battling behind him. So Sven de Vries up into 5th, Guy up into 6th. And who's fallen down the order? I mean, there's someone got an awful start, I think. Can't see who it is, but we've got Sukas 9th, Bracan 10th, Parker up to 8th, and Muscat 7th as we head into the twisty sections of the Hungaroring. Not one of the favourite tracks on the calendar, this, for many people, and you're about to see why as we head through into this left-hander. off the power, onto the power once again into this right hand. They've got to modulate the throttle so carefully, little straight, and then into the left hander once again. Very much like Silverstone, but much more demanding onto the tyres. Then we head out onto this mini straight here into sector 3 and into the tight and twisty downhill then hill section, which causes so many problems in race. So many people want to overtake around this section. Look at the battle here for P4 behind Gagzella. It's all kicking off. Here's Gaia, goes up the inside of Sven de Vries there. The front three just absolutely pulling away at a rate of knots here. And across start finish straight we go for lap 2. It's Simoncic from Pushka, Siggy, Gagzella, De Vries, Gaia, Muscat, Parker, Sukas and Bracan rounding out the top 10, though positions are sure to change as down the straight we go into turn 1 we go. And De Vries holds off Muscat, but Muscat, in doing so, gets past Florian Gaia, so the German down to P7 and just ahead of his teammate Tom Parker there. Miko Sukas in the background as well, making sure he's sticking in the top 10 for the Centurion boys. And very close stuff here in the background, but the top 3 absolutely flying away now. There's about a 2-second gap, 2.3 second gap between Siggy and Gagzella at the moment. And Gagzella, I fear, is providing a bit of a bottle cork effect, because the Romanian, not usually one to go for the compromise setup. He's either all wing or all straight line. And it looks here that he may very well be going for the straight line setup, because Sven de Vries is all over the back of him. The American really starting to pile the pressure on Gagzella. And to be fair, de Vries doesn't need to really push much at all. Gagzella goes very wide, as does de Vries. The understeer on this circuit, a huge factor here. As you get into that understeer, and if you don't judge it correctly, then you will go absolutely flying off the circuit. And it must be said, once again, exceeding track limits is something which a lot of people will be keeping their eye on round here, because last year in the Formula Challenge, I think in Supercup and Super League as well, a lot of exceeding track limits, and so we want to make sure that that isn't the case for this year, and everyone seems to be doing a nice enough job keeping within those limits as we enter turn. Once again, a huge train behind Gagzella, pretty much going all the way down to Dawe Tapper in P13. Massive train, and well, there's only so much patience a racing driver can give before they start getting bored behind one car. I know that for certain. I was stuck behind people yesterday in the Formula Challenge. Not nice, and especially when you have to deal with that understeer as well. As Gagzella goes wide again at turn 4, and De Vries has got to get a move on here, because Jason Muscat, his nearest championship rival, is right behind him as well. Oh, De Vries looking on the inside of Gagzella into the chicane. Can't do much though, and once again I fear they're going to have to go round in single file. A bit of a gap actually developing between Tom Parker and Miko Sukas now, so sort of going into 2 trains, though because of the understeer I imagine that that'll all close up soon enough as we head into sector 3 once again. Lap 3 of 40. Gagzella holding on well enough with the 2 Simcrafts and the Adonis Engineering of Muscat behind him. Sukas and Bracan, Lopez, Clont and Tapper all in a bit of a gap of their own, and all behind them. Let's have a look here. We've been Nieminen battling with Jarl. That's who got the bad start. Jarl Tyen. Oh, and Jarl! No, that was an awful crash from Jarl Tyen. Absolutely disgusting. And Nieminen, completely an innocent victim there. Right down the order he goes after what was a fantastic start. So Jarl Tyen up into 15th, and clearly not happy with the standards of the field here, diving through on Pavel Loknovsky, and the Estonian getting well out of the way. I don't blame you, Pavel, not after that. So Jarl up into 14th, Pavel down to 15th, and Nieminen, oh, what a shame for poor Harry, the Finn just completely destroyed there. Meanwhile, back up at the front, let's focus on some good jobs, shall we? Jerne Simoncic, just about holding on to lead here by 0.4 of a second, but I'll tell you what, Philip Pushka and Kevin Siggy are keeping in very close pursuit. All 3 of these drivers within a second of each other, and tyre wear, as I said before, a huge factor around this. You don't want to be using up the tyres too early, otherwise you can find yourself struggling very late into your stint. And believe me, when those tyres go off around this circuit, you will hate it. You will absolutely hate it, because rather than having just understeer from the dirty air in front of you, you're going to have understeer naturally from the tyres. That coupled with understeer from the dirty air, and you have yourself a car which is, well, not very nice to drive. I'm pretty sure that Lewis would tell you that as well, after being stuck in my dirty air for a little bit. But these 3 go nicely along. 10% through this race, lap 5 of 40. And they're all just sticking in single file at the moment. Not much going on, but looking back to Gazelle, he's still holding De Vries, Muscat, Parker and Gaia in the opposite order behind him. And Sukas hasn't exactly dropped away, to say the least. He's able to hold about 6/10 gap to Parker, so don't count out these guys from 9th to 13th. They're still there or thereabouts, and if they crash up ahead, then surely they'll be the first to benefit from it. But for the moment, everything is nice and calm. Well, as calm as it can be, I guess. And that's, I guess, one of the downsides of the Hungaroring is it's a very tight and narrow circuit, coupled with the nature of it being very twisty and having not many natural places to overtake. You won't see many overtakes in this race. It's something that I guess we were fearing. There were certainly quite a few overtakes just yesterday in the Formula Challenge, but these guys want to keep their front wings and rear wings and tyres on because it's a much longer race, 40 laps or so. Oh, hello. 40 laps or so is certainly much longer, and we've just had a little tweet through from Cameron Brewster. My phone comes in handy for once, and he says here, Jarl got oversteer on the exit of the second last turn, causing him to nudge Arrington, not intentional, in my opinion. I wouldn't have necessarily said it was intentional in the first place anyway, it's just the style of driving. But yeah, Cam having a look there, shares his opinion. Certainly worth keeping in mind. And well, hopefully Jarl was not to blame. Hopefully it was an understeer, just an oversteer moment, but either way, Ari Nieminen, where is he now? All the way down in P29. So amazingly, he's still ahead of Alexander van der Woude, who currently sits in last place, and we'll see whether Ari Niemann can work his way back up into the top 20. It's going to be a tall order so early on in the race, though. Certainly for Ari, he doesn't exactly have the alien speed of the front runners. It's more about consistency as a Finn, and that's what's given him points so far this season. Always been a nice surprise in race 2, able to battle it up in the top 10 simply by keeping it on track. So coming into Sector 3 now comes Simicic and Pushka, and from what I've seen, Pushka is certainly closer than where we've seen him before. He's sort of looked back for these first 5 laps or so, but now he's turning on the afterburner, and I think Kevin Siggy is just saying, you know, you two battle. You know, I'm going to just sit here, wait it out, see what happens between you two. I'm going to throw the dice a little bit later into the race, and that's something we certainly have to remember, as we see by the timing gaps there. Pushka only 4/10 behind Simicic, Stiggy a second behind Simicic, so they're still separated by a second, but it's certainly noticeable that Pushka is closer than before. As we have a little battle further down now. Mikko Sukas has reeled in the gap to Parker. Either that, or Parker has fallen a little bit behind. The pace here, he certainly dropped off the back of Gaia, as Florian Gaia, saying that, moves ahead of De Vries. And what on earth has happened to De Vries? Oh, how strange. What on earth happened to him? Oh, wow, okay. So, oh, right. Oh, that's weird. So Gagzella lagged in front of De Vries. And, oh, yeah, okay. So De Vries, I thought he'd pulled off track there or something. No, Gagzella lagged in front of him. And De Vries was just an innocent victim. He sort of ran back of him, went airborne, and has found himself all the way back in P13. So not very good for the American at all. He's got to get past all these guys of Tapper, Clont and Lopez before he's even back into the top 10. It could actually prove very good for him in the reverse grid race, lest we forget. Because, of course, here in Supercup, our second race, the shorter length, has a reverse grid of 6 to 10. But he has to get up into that 10th place in the first place. But look at that. Already onto the back of Tapper is Reese. So imagine, oh yeah, Tapper almost lets him through. Not going to battle with him, says Tapper. And onto the start-finish straight we go. Oh, looks like they're going to go side by side at least, heading on to the start-finish straight. Oh, look how much more wind Tapper has. Goodness me, no chance for De Vries down the straight. He's going to dive into turn 1. And through he goes. So De Vries up into P12. And actually just ahead, Menno Clont has pulled a similar move on Fran Lopez. So Menno Clont up into P10 himself now. Fran Lopez down to P11. Up ahead, Maurice Bracan into P9. And just behind his battle between Parker and Sukas, I think Parker really starting to hold up these two now. And it could lead indeed to Clont, Lopez and De Vries all catching up themselves. Gaia and Muscat are very close. And look how much Gagzella's defending here. Muscat all over him. Through he goes. Oh, Jason Muscat. Lovely move from the Maltese driver there, and Gagzella seems to be really struggling. I tell you what, this was a trait we found from Gagzella last year in Formula Challenge. His tyre wear is not good at all, and especially if he's gone for a lower downforce setup, he's going to be really struggling. We might see him perhaps make a move back on Muscat down the start-finish straight, but he's going to need an almighty exit to be able to get into the slipstream. Let's have a look at them now. Dyer's going to be providing pressure there as well. Into the final turn we go. And let's see now how we do down the start-finish straight. Muscat ahead by 0.3 of a second. Gagzella into the slipstream as Jarl Tyen is our first retirement from the race. But no, Gagzella can't do anything. And his lag is starting to worry me, actually. Gaia could be through if he's careful and use a nice enough move. Let's actually look back at the front here, because Filip Puška, once again, is piling on the pressure on Jerne Simončić. And, well, I wouldn't want to be Puška, really. It's difficult to get into the back of someone here, because then you've got all the trouble of where's the braking zones, you know, how much you want to be leaving. There's a bit of movement down there. And yeah, look at this. It's Fran Lopez and Menno Klont here. Side by side into the chicane. Menno Klont just about holds on, but Fran Lopez is going to try and get the cut back. No, he can't get it done, but Sven de Vries in there as well. Oh my word, almost pushing Fran Lopez around. That's absolutely crazy. He wants to be much more careful than that. But these guys are getting a bit feisty now. And I tell you what, Maurice Bracan ahead is going to be absolutely loving this. He's staying a little bit behind the belt between Sukas and Parker now. But he's just there, holding his own in 9. Not really worrying too much about life in general. And I'm pretty sure he'll be happy with points, and that, of course, puts him in the reverse grid reckoning as well. As around the final corner comes Menno Klont behind him. He seems to have pulled out a really nice gap on Fran Lopez here, who's under heavy pressure from Sven de Vries. Let's see what Sven can do into turn 1. It seems that he's got much higher wings than Lopez, though, and he can't do anything. It seems to me that the American's going to have to try something in the actual twisty part of the circuit itself before, rather than trying something on the straight. Or maybe he can get him through strategy, I don't know. But you can see how much he's spinning Lopez around there, sector 1. Okay, sorry, I was just checking through messages. If you do have anything that you want us to talk about, then by all means tweet me or whatever on @KirkyLife. Because if you've got a little point you want to share about the race, or if you've got any pointers or questions you want to ask, then I will quite happily have something to talk about. As there's not really much overtaking going on, to be honest. There's lots of little battles and whatnot, and there's lots of pressure, but there doesn't seem to be all that many crashes. So actually, along with Jarl Tyen, he funnily enough said DNF, so he's actually given full stop as the Norwegian. Christoph Lichtenstein retired a couple of laps before him for Fox Racing, so we still have 28 runners and riders. And we head on to lap 11 of 40. We're expecting our first pitters maybe in around 5 laps, I'm guessing. I'd imagine if they come in that early, we're looking very much at 2 stoppers. I think there's a possibility to stretch out for a 1 stop. As I say, we're looking at about 18 laps, roughly. As, what was that going on back there? Bit of lag. Oh, it's Menno Klont here. Menno Klont catching up onto the back of Maurice Bracan. There could be a move very soon. But yeah, as I was saying, we're looking at about 18 laps, perhaps, for these soft option tyres before we head onto the prime. Does that mean that the prime tyres have to do, quick maths, 22 laps, which isn't unfeasible? But remember that the other compound tyres have, well, they're not only slower, you know, they may have longer life, but they also lack more grip, which is a huge point. But look at Parker here. Parker is absolutely providing a bottle hook effect here, and Sukas, who has failed to get past Parker in this time, now has a lot of trouble behind him, because Bracan's decided he's interested. And why has Bracan decided he's interested? Well, because Menno Klont is right onto the back of the German, and Menno Klont could be looking at yet more points here, because he's been looking feisty. He's not had the best of starts here in Hungary, but he's fighting his way back through the field, and that's what we like to see as we go into the penultimate corner, followed by the final corner. Then Parker trying to gain some sort of an advantage. There is none there. Behind this battle, Lopez still holding off de Vries in the battle for 11th, 12th and 13th, with Douwe Tapper just behind. Onto the start-finish straight we are now with de Vries and Lopez. And yeah, I think Lopez is just running much, much lower wings because De Vries can't even make an impact into turn 1. And I know De Vries, he's going to be a little bit frustrated by this. He's usually the patient type, uses his moves wisely. He's willing to wait for a bit, but this isn't where he wants to be. He got caught out by a bit of lag from Gagzella, which was a real shame, to be honest. It was unfortunate at its best, but, well, being stuck behind someone in 11th. He's not even in the reverse grid positions, remember. I said the top 10 is the potential biggest return for a reverse grid. But De Vries has had some luck throughout the championship, and perhaps he can find a little bit more of it to be able to find himself back up in that good position. Back up at the front. Kevin Siggy has very much fallen away from the battle for first here. Jerne Simracing and Filip Puška both pit. Well. Looks like we're going 2-stop here for the front runners. Simracing and Puška both in. Kevin Siggy goes round again to take the lead of this race, as does Muscat, as does Gagzella, as does Gaia. And we'll see now whether any of these guys behind come in as well. Oh, here we go, De Vries on Lopez. So De Vries is through on Lopez, but we're onto the back straight here, and I think Lopez may very well get this position back. Oh, with ease. Unless De Vries is able to lately break in. Here comes Simracing and Puška. Oh, they're back into the traffic. This isn't good, and Lopez just able to hold ahead. But there we go, Simracing and Puška out into P12 and P13 and right into the traffic. But that was early stops for them, so it's almost certain that they're going to be going for a 2-stop strategy. Very interesting from the leaders here, and will be even more interesting to see where the other guys come out, because obviously this has not worked well for the leaders. Right back into the melee of it. And so Kevin Siggy then is running on his own in first. He leads by 8.5 seconds. But mind you, he's not exactly the one to have the best tyre wear. The guy who we've seen usually in these races have the best tyre wear has been Florian Gaia. He has run the option tyres out to their absolute maximum before pitting. And I just wonder whether he can do that again today as we go around the penultimate corner. Let's see whether Siggy pits. No, Siggy does go round again. Interesting. Interesting stuff. Let's see whether the guys behind him pit now. Muscat and Gagzella. Muscat pits. Gagzella and Gaia do not. Interesting. What a bizarre way to go in. Everyone down to 8th doesn't pit. And Fran Lopez does pit. That wasn't a surprise, knowing his tyre wear. So De Vries is very much let loose now with Fran Lopez out the way. And he will continue on his way with Tapper, Simracing and Puška all going through. And oh, here comes Puška actually. Puška on the inside of Jerne Simracing. Can he get him into turn 1? This is effectively for the race lead, and Filip Puška has it. He pushes Simracing out to the side. And oh, well, look at that. I didn't notice this before, but Puška out to the option tyre. Simracing is onto the prime. So, we have a strategy between the two leaders here. And Filip Puška perhaps naturally goes up into P10. Jerne Simracing down to P11. And well. A splitting strategy. And I said this might be the way that we see things fold out. And we'll see whether this does work with Puška. I think Jerne Simracing may actually have called this very well. Because Puška now has got to stick in that sturdy and work his tyres more, trying to get past the likes of Tapper and De Vries. Let's have a look to see whether Siggy pits now. Siggy comes into the pits on lap 14 of 40. So, a little bit later here, let's see what Gagzella and Gaia do. Gagzella goes round again, and Gaia goes round again. So, Gagzella for one... I'm pretty sure he has led the race this season before, but it's very few and far between for the Romanian. So, he goes on to lap 15, as does Gaia, as does Parker, Sukas, Brakan, and Klont, and De Vries, and Tapper, and of course Puška and Simracing. And let's see where Siggy comes out. Oh, Siggy might have inherited the race lead here. Going to turn 1 we go. Oh, this is directly for the race lead, and Puška goes through on Tapper. But oh, Siggy, he comes out into P2 essentially, the net P2. And Simracing dives through on Dawi Tapper as well, so it's a position gained for Tapper. Oh, sorry, Simracing. But, well, good call by Siggy. And what tyres is he on? He's onto the option tyre, so he has matched Puška's strategy. Simracing very much on the alternative strategy then. Well. Let's see what the Slovenian can do from here. He's going to be on the better tyre near the end. Oh, it's exciting. Exciting stuff. I mean, we haven't seen much overtaking at all. Siggy looking on the inside of Puška already. Goodness me, but perhaps a race decided by strategy for once. As we now look once again to Emmanuel Gagzella, our race leader here on lap 15 of 40. 3 more laps and I reckon he could be able to do a one-stop. He's going round again. Interesting, as does Gaia. Let's look now to Parker and Sukas here. All 4. Parker, Sukas, Bracken and Clark. Actually, no, Parker pits late. As does De Vries as well. As does Tapper. So, the leaders are let loose. Our net race leader, Philip Pushka. Second, Ken Siggy. And third, Jone Simoncic. And Simoncic right onto the back of Siggy already into turn 1. Can't do anything. There's lap 16 here. The top 5 could all be stretching to a one-stop. Is it even possible? We'll wait and see. So Gagzella still technically in the lead of this race by 0.6 of a second. And there's the battle between Sukas, Klont. Yeah, it is just Sukas. Yeah, Sukas, Bracken and Klont then. 3, 4 and 5. They certainly won't come out ahead of Pushka, Siggy and Simoncic if they are on this 2-stop strategy still. They're just going a bit late. But there could be some late switching nearer the end, especially if the tyre wear goes off as quickly as it does. Let's look back to Gagzella now, who is certainly losing a lot of time hand over fist to Florian Gaia. Where's our first prime runner as well? That is Simoncic essentially. The other one is Parker's gone onto the primes. That's interesting. Yeah, it looks like the other prime runners are going away as Gagzella pits. So Florian Gaia, as expected, goes round again. He's going to go onto lap 17 of 40. So we are very near that supposed one-stop window. And look at that. Sukas, Bracken and Klont also go round again. And actually, Klont's eyeing up a move here on Maurice Bracken into turn 1. I think this might be very easy, actually. The German just about holds on, though. You can see those tyres slipping away from Klont very slightly. Bracken on the steer on that car. And oh, Klont! Oh, what happened there? There's contact between himself and Bracken, I think. Let's have a look here. Oh, no. Oh, Klont just left it by himself. Oh, what a shame for the Dutchman. So he falls behind Scott Beresford, who's still going around the Yorkshire tyre. Menno Klont down. Oh, and he's off again. Oh, Menno. He's lost his rear wing. That is his race done, unfortunately. Oh, what happened to him the second time? Oh, so he lost his rear wing the first time. Oh, he went backwards into the wall. A shame for Menno Klont there. He's going to try and limp back to the pit, but that is rear wing gone, and Menno Klont is out of this race. A real shame for the Dutchman who was running so well. So that leaves the 3 people possibly going on to a one-stop strategy is Gaia, Sukas and Bracken. Let's see what Gaia does. Gaia is going round again. He is going to be able to make it onto lap 18 of 40. And so, yeah, I don't see any reason why Gaia shouldn't be able to one-stop it. Very, very interesting. That's Sukas. Okay, Bracken is in. It's going to be a bit of a stretch for him, I think. But Sukas as well. Sukas and Gaia, the guys to watch out for. Behind, Pushka, Siggy and Simoncic continue on their way. Remember, Simoncic on that alternative strategy. Behind, Muscat now inherits P6. He will be P4 though. Gagzella will be P5. Bracken comes out into what will effectively be P6. Where's De Vries gone? Oh wow, so he's jumped De Vries. Interesting. Yeah, so you can see how much that time lost to that was lost to De Vries. So Bracken P6. So this will be P7, or maybe not P7. Sorry, because Gaia and Sukas have yet to pit. So I think De Vries is pretty much P9, I would say. Then Lopez P10, Parker P11. So Parker's lost a lot of time there. Tapper P12, McBell P13. No, I don't think he's pitted. Scott Beresford has pitted onto the prime tyre, so I reckon he's P13. Then the 2 FAs are essentially 14th and 15th. We look now to Florian Gaia once again. Surely he has to pit. And indeed he does. Into the pits come Florian Gaia, lap 18 of 40. What about Mikko Sukas? Yep, Sukas definitely pitting as well. So let's see. What does Gaia go on to? Philip Pushka will go round to inherit the lead of this race. But let's see what the 2 possible one-stoppers. So yeah, Gaia onto primes as expected. And what about Sukas here? Sukas onto primes again. I would not put it past them to make it to the end of the race. But here we go. Siggy and Pushka are close now. Wow, okay, so Pushka, I thought, had this one under control, but Kevin Siggy is putting his overtaking boots on. And look at Simracing as well. Because these two are battling, Simracing has been brought right back into this. And this is really suiting Simracing massively. Because remember, he's on the prime compound tyre. He doesn't want to get too aggressive, I don't think, but Pushka going wide, struggling a bit. And Kevin Siggy, oh, you don't want to be caught there, Siggy. That's on the outside. But he's able to hold it just about. And look at him, he's always pushing Philip Pushka around turn 5 there. And into the we go into now the twisty section here of Sector 2. Siggy is right on it. Meanwhile, Gaia, differing strategy here for Sukas. So Gaia into P5, Gagzella P6, Brakan P7, and Miko Sukas all the way down in P8. It just shows how big the gap was between those two. But De Vries then P9 and Lopez into P10. But looking up here at the front, the lead separated by 0.6 of a second. And well, if we had these guys, Pushka and Siggy coming in lap 11 or 12, let's just see what lap that was, just to reconfirm for you. So it's very much, yeah, it was lap 13 or 14, wasn't it? So we should be expecting them back in about maybe 5 or 6 laps. Oh, look, okay, Menoclon is still in this race. I didn't know you could get ruins prepared. Right, so Menoclon back into this race, but albeit down in last. We had another retirement in the form of Luke Zulk, who has run out of fuel. Not really the best thing to be doing on your debut there, Luke. So we have 3 retirements from this race already. Nowhere near as actually catastrophic as the Formula Challenge, where we had people falling off all over the place, but still 3 retirements so far. And oh, Pushka lighting up his rears out the chicane. Yeah, that German does not look happy, and oh, stuck behind Van der Woude. That's a very difficult place to be a backmarker, mind you. So I don't envy Alex at all. Yeah, Pushka under real pressure, and look at Simracing. He is right in there, isn't he? This is absolutely benefiting him, hands down. Yeah, look at that gap back to Jason Muscat as well, about 9 seconds or so back to Muscat. But then again, look at the Adonis Engineering team overall, 3rd and 4th. That's pretty good if you ask me. And then Gaia P5, Gagzella P6, Brakan P7. Here's about we can look at. Miko Sukas P8, and the recovering Sven de Vries in P9. De Vries very much on a 2-stop strategy, we believe. And we'll see whether we can do anything here into turn 1. He looks to the inside of Sukas, and I don't think Sukas will put too much of a fight in. No, he won't. So, De Vries is through. Sukas, who could very well be on a 1-stop strategy, deciding discretion is very much the better part of valour, and we will save that battle for another day, perhaps later in the race. I'm just looking at the pit stop times now, actually. So it's about 20 seconds for a stop or so. I'm looking where Gaia is here. Is 11.9 seconds off of the leaders here. Sukas is pretty much 20 seconds off though. So I think Sukas is looking for a decent position, but not as great as Gaia. But my worry for Gaia here is that he is going to be running those prime pound tyres right to the end. And he is going to be hugely susceptible to attack at the very end, because even though Siggy Pushka... Oh, the lead, sorry. We're just about to talk about these two, weren't we? Here we go. Siggy on Philip Pushka, trying around the outside of turn 1. He locks up heavily, though. This could allow Simracing through. A bit of a twitch from Siggy as well. Massive tank stuffer. But yeah, Pushka and Siggy will be going onto the prime tyres, but there will be new prime tyres, remember, as opposed to the old ones. Simracing is the dark horse, though. And he is staying well within reaches of the leaders here, and he'll be onto the option tyres. So Simracing, very much the man who I'm placing in the hot seat for this race win. Especially if he keeps going as he does. Lap 22 of 40 here. We are halfway through. Get your words right, James. Over halfway through this race. Just to remind you of your point scorers. Is Pushka from Siggy, Simracing Muscat, Gaia Gagzella, Brakan de Vries, Sukas Lopez, Parker Tapper, Beresford, Loknovsky, and Pelkonen. Rounding out 15. The positions, though, for the reverse grid of race 2 lie with Gazella, Bracan, De Vries, Sukas and Lopez. And given how little overtaking we have seen around this track so far, that reverse grid position could yet prove crucial to how their evenings overall will be. Just looking at the championship as well in terms of the drivers, Scat P4, De Vries P8. That is a gain of 5 points? 6 points. No, definitely 5 points for Muscat. Near enough as Siggy's still trying to get past Pushka, but can't get anything done. It's pretty clear to me that Siggy has that straight line speed, but Pushka, as always, using those higher wing setups, and he's just putting his car in all the right places. You can see Siggy getting ever more desperate, but he's got to be careful. He's got to make sure that he doesn't let Simracing through. Otherwise, that's his strategy ruined. Quite really. Round turn 5 we go. Into the turn 6-7 hairpin. And the top 3, by 0.3 of a second. It is very much a theme for this year, where we have 3 drivers in each race, just being there or thereabouts, making sure that they're, you know, staying within each other's in each other's reach. Looking so close, yet no real edge necessary. They're all equal in their own way. Simracing limited by tyre, Siggy limited by wing setup, Pushka limited by straight line speed. It all equals out. And looking back to Jason Muscat, if I'm not mistaken, he's not so quickly catching these guys in. Let's have a look at where Jason Muscat is as he goes over the line. Sorry, Siggy. Look at the outside of Pushka. He can't do it again. He's got to almost run into the back of Pushka to defend off Simracing. And no, sorry, Jason Muscat isn't actually catching him because he's 9.1 seconds behind the leaders now. But Kevin's, look at Siggy. He's getting ever so desperate. He's in a great position for his team anyway, but he wants that race win. He wants his 3rd race win of the season. After Austria and after Hockenheim, he wants something more. Just not getting it, is he? Finding it ever so difficult to get past Pushka, and we know Pushka as a very accomplished driver. He's been in this position plenty of times before. It's why he's got 3 race wins this season, why he's, you know, had 2 pole positions this season. Though he hasn't necessarily made as much of an impact on the championship as we thought he was going to do, he's still there nonetheless. And we've had some changes down at the bottom here. Pavel Oknowski's having to be 13. So he's gotten past Scott Beresford at some stage. Remember, Scott Beresford might be trying to stretch for a 1 stop here. We'll have to wait and see how that one turns out. But also Adrian McNaughton, who, remember, started on the prime tyre, actually. He is now up into P15. Let's see where he made his stop. Oh, he made quite a big stop, actually, on P8 on lap 18. So he's probably going for 2 stops. This is the Englishman. But he's ahead, nevertheless. And that's where he wants to be. Change for the lead here. Oh no, sorry, I lied. It's a change for second, sorry. Jerne Simracing has found a way through Kevin Siggy's armour, and into turn 3 we go. The Slovenian may very well have this. Yes, he does. So, Kevin Siggy, this door open, and Simracing said, thank you very much. I'll take that, and this is working wonderfully well for Jerne. Kevin Siggy looks through, but yep, you've lost your chance, mate. You've absolutely lost your chance. And now to Simracing to try and make some impact on Pushka. And actually, mind you, remember, this is where Simracing will actually be coming into a bit of his own. We're on lap 25 of 40. We're expecting Pushka and Siggy to be pitting anytime soon for their second stop. So the tides turn. Well. There is still a race to be had here. Muscat still losing time. And actually looking at Roy Verzel, actually, is in the Fox car. So he is driving. He is full-time Super Cup now. Completely missed that. Well, do you know? Oh, there we go. Pushka's in. Pushka is in for his second stop. He's going to go onto the prime tyre. Simracing re-inherits the lead of this race. He has Kevin Siggy for company, and will Siggy look down to turn 1? Oh, there's a bit of contact between the two, but no harm done. And, well, I'm surprised Kevin Siggy is still trying to have a look on Simracing, because this is really not his battle. Meanwhile, Oh, right, yeah, this is where Pushka's feeding back in. So Pushka, on the prime tyre, remember, feeds back out ahead of his teammate, Maurice Bracan, who actually, looking at that, has Sven de Vries for company all of a sudden. So the battle for P7 is most certainly on between Bracan and de Vries. But Philip Pushka there in P6, he falls in behind Gaxella, and the one stopping Gaia. That is actually a big point. So Gaia, technically, net lead of this race, potentially? We don't know. Philip Pushka, though, is, what, 3 seconds behind? Let's see how Gaia maintains his speed for the rest of this race. Pushka has to get Gaxella first before he has any chance of getting onto the back of Gaia. Where's Sukas as well? So Sukas is still P9, so yeah, he's well behind Pushka. Meanwhile, Simčić goes round again, as does Kevin Siggy. So Siggy's leaving his second stint a bit long. Let's look at where Muscat pits. So Muscat pits then, so that'll mean that Florian Gaia will go through into P3. Remember, we're saying he's net lead. Gaxella P4, Pushka P5, Bracan P6, De Vries P7 maybe? We'll have to wait and see. Where does Muscat out? Lost him now. Here he goes. Oh, wow, Muscat's lost a lot of time, actually, mind you. He comes out, and is he even going to get ahead of Dawe Tapper? Just about, thankfully for Muscat. So yeah, Muscat loses a position to Mikko Sukas. So Sukas, very much in the running for potentially top 5. It's possible for the Finn, but remember, he has to go to the end of the race on the prime tyre. So he's going to be hurting near the end, whereas Muscat has got these prime tyres to the end, though. He's got Dawe Tapper right on the back of it, mind you. So he's got to defend to keep his position even before he can even think of going on to try and catch up to the likes of Sukas. Up at the front, Simracing. Oh, wow, okay. That's a weird one. So Simracing hits early. So let's see, 18, was it 5th lap? So he's on lap 28, so that would be 12 laps on the option. So an early stop for Simracing, possibly doing him some good there. Siggy goes round again, though. That's very interesting. And here comes Gaia. This is actually what we're looking at. Here comes Gaia through, and here comes Pushka through as well. Where does Pushka come out in relation to Simracing? So Simracing definitely comes out into second place. Look at Gaxella there. Gaxella is in his way and keeping on those prime tyres. So unless Gaxella has some amazing tyre wear to his disposal, we can dispose him out the way. He's not exactly going to be making much of an impact. But yeah, well. Gaia, in theory, leads this race by about 2 seconds or so. Will he be able to hold that? Oh, and actually, look at that. Simracing straight through on Gaxella. Where on earth did that happen? Oh, wow, we've got him through into turn 5. Nice move from Simracing. But now here is where Gaia is going to start hurting, because Simracing is on fresh option compound tyres, and he can pretty much push until the end, I would say. Gaia on those prime tyres, and I don't think he's going to make it, as Kevin Siggy comes into the pits alongside Patrick Hayward. Let's see where Kevin Siggy filters out. I think he might struggle to get into 6th, actually. He's lost a lot of time because Sven de Vries has passed Maurice Bracan. Let's have a look here. So Gaia now enters the lead of this race for the first time on the alternative strategy, on the one-stop strategy. Here comes Siggy, though. That was a quick stop onto the prime option tyre. He doesn't get ahead of Simracing, though. Simracing is into 2nd, Siggy 3rd. Gaxella still in 4th, though. But look at Pushka. He is pushing Gaxella around, and it's pretty evident to me that he's going to be getting around the Romanian anytime soon. Alexander van der Woude gets out the way. And Pushka, he's trying ever so hard to try and get past Romania, but he just can't do it. He's stuck there in P5. De Vries P6, Bracan P7, Mikko Sukas P8, Muscat P9, and under heavy pressure from Dawe Tapper, mind you. Parker 11th, Beresford 12th, Helkinen 13th, Van Lopez 14th. I don't have it here, but he's fallen down the order. And Loknoski in P15. But well, a lot of this race still to go. lap 29.40, almost 10 laps to go. We're into the last quarter of this race, and it is 9/10 of a second between Gaia and Simicic. That lead has been eaten up. And why not? I mean, Herzl has been holding up Gaia for a bit there, heading into the bottom corner now. Oh, Simicic goes a bit wide. That'll hurt him as we head into the final corner with Simicic now. And onto the start-finish straight we go. To lap 30 of 40. The gap, 1.1 seconds for Simicic. I think it's going to be easy pickings for the Slovenian. Behind, Siggy is pretty much in P3 on his own, actually. And Filipushka goes through on Gagzella. So Filipushka is through on Romanian. Now, I actually think Gagzella might be going until the end here. I think he might be trying to stretch it. And fair play to him, he's in a good position as well. So he might struggle a bit later on, that's for sure. But he may, you know, he's at the moment he's guaranteed a good position for race 2, which is certainly something to keep his eyes on. Bracan into P6. Oh yes, of course, De Vries had to pit, didn't he? So De Vries then onto the prime compound tyre. He left the one a bit late, and so the American is to P11. Tom Parker 10th, 9th, Muscat 8th, Sukas 7th now. So yeah, actually, let's see who else has got to pit. Gagzella may very well have to pit, and Bracan certainly has to pit, that's for sure. Sukas will gain a position through Bracan. He may gain a position through Gagzella, so Sukas may be net 5 or 6 here. Oh, pardon me. Still got to keep Muscat behind though. Tapper has to pit again, surely. And Parker to pit again, surely. There'll be lots of chopping and changing. And oh, look at the lead between Simicic and Gaia. In one lap, 7/10 of a second has been slashed out of that lead. And, well, Simicic has only got to get a clean move on to be able to take the leaders race once again. As Tapper pits, there we go, into P he goes. He'll fall behind De Vries as well, and most likely Scott Beresford as well, who is one stopping maybe, I'm not too sure. Here comes Simicic onto the back of Gaia, and this is where he dove through on Gagzella earlier. He can't do it though. But he's right behind him as well. And look at Kevin Siggy here as well. Siggy is on the prime compound tyre. Because Simicic is being held up by Gaia here, who's on, I don't even know how old these tyres are. They must be about 12 laps old. Which isn't too bad at the moment. But considering Simicic is on the much fresher option compound rubber, doesn't really want to be in that position for too long. He needs to dive through eventually. You can see here the impact of staying behind Gaia and Gaia's good defending. Whereas 7/10 of a second was eaten out of the gap between Gaia and Simicic last lap. This lap, there's hardly been a 10th in it. On to the start-finish straight we go. And we'll see what sort of an exit Simicic can get. On to lap 32 of 40 we go. 9 laps remaining. And will Simicic have a little dive into turn 1? No, he won't. I think Gaia's got the straight line speed here. But he's going to be struggling nearer the race. That's for sure. Meanwhile, Dawe Tapper is... Oh, he's in battle with Fran Lopez here. He came out behind Spaniard. And on the prime option... On the prime compound rubber, I should say. But Lopez seems to have gotten the better of the Dutchman for now. Heading on to the start-finish straight, though we go. I'm just going to keep a little eye on Gaia and Simicic. They're still battling. No, I think Lopez has got this one. So back to the battle for the lead. Oh, Simicic gets a bit of a tank slapper out of turn 5, mind you. So Gaia stays there for now. Yuri Oceano, lap traffic gets out the way very nicely. Good job, Yuri. And through the twisty section we go now. Left. And right again. You can see just how much Gaia is struggling even now to get round the section of the track. Oh, ever so slow round the third to last corner. And yeah, really having to lose a lot of speed around the penultimate corner to even make it. But yeah, look at Simicic. I tell you what, Simicic has got something to worry about here because Kevin Siggy's closing on him at a rate of knots. And if anything, through the course of that lap, yeah, Guy has actually pulled out about a 10th overall. The German is doing an absolutely stellar job to keep him behind. Meanwhile, I'm looking at Maurice Bracan as well. And the German is still going, amazingly. On lap 32, no 33 even to 40, he's made 2 option compound tyres last. He's going to have to make a late stop, surely. Which would drop him to... Oh, don't drop him. Maybe P10. So he'd still be in there or thereabouts. Has to make another stop because he's not used the prime compound tyre yet. Back to the leaders though. Yeah, look at Siggy. Only within a second of the leader now. Could the Austrian have a shot of winning this race? Philip Puschka has just fallen off the back massively. Though mind you, he's starting to reel in the gap once again as we head into sector 3 with the front 3. This could very well become a 4-way battle for the lead, though Gaia noticeably struggling now. That gap has been slashed once again. Oh, he's struggling. You can see how much that car wants to oversteer. Round we go again. And let's see whether Simracing can make a move now onto lap 34 of 40. 7 laps remaining. And here goes Simracing then. On to the outside of Florian Gaia, the German. Can the Slovenian take him around the outside? No, he got no! Bit of contact from Siggy. Simracing just going to try and get the cutback there. He just can do it, and there we go. Maurice Bracan into the pits. Out he comes once again onto the prime compound tyre. Tom Parker goes past. Debris goes past as Siggy on the outside of Simracing. And could Siggy hit AP2? On the prime compound, they go almost going side by side through turn 5. And for Gaia, this is an absolute godsend. Now that what were originally the front 3 are now squabbling away for the podium position, and Gaia can just say thank you very much, I'm going to keep going on my way. And look at Puschka, he has gained a heap of time because Sig and Simracing are now battling away. Well, well, well. Simracing needed to make his move earlier, didn't he? Because now he is struggling to even keep the likes of Kevin Siggy and Philip Puschka behind. And look at Siggy, he's just got better grip. Where has Simracing's pace gone? Where has it gone? Meanwhile, by the way, Maurice Bracan filter out back into P10, so he's still in the reverse grid slots. But round the final corner we go. The gap between Florian Gaia and Jerne Simracing is 1 second. And is Kevin Siggy now going to line up another shot into turn 1? Oh, yeah, there's contact between the two. Siggy, he's got to be more careful. He's nibbling away on Simracing's rear end. Naughty, naughty. Keep it to the bedroom, boys. Seriously, this is ruining Simracing's plans. All his plans gone to waste. The strategy was perfect. Or maybe, just maybe, they should have focused on getting more tyre wear out of their car. Because Guy is just sitting there. He's going around at a merry pace on his one-stop strategy. And we've got, 5.5 laps to go? That's all he needs to hold over. And Philip Puschka! Oh no, Gagzella, sorry. Gagzella, what happened to him? He lost it around turn 5. Gagzella, that was his own fault. Oh gosh, and he pitted as well. So it must have been cold rubber. Cold rubber, and he just lost it. And it's the one thing which has been the problem with Gagzella all season. His racecraft has just been so much weaker than it was last year. And so what that means is that Mikko Sukas is up into P5, though that said, he is under heavy pressure from Jason Muscat. Tom Parker into P7, Sven de Vries into P8, Bruce Bracan into P9, and Scott Beresford into P10, Lopez 11th, Tapper 12th, McNaughton 13th, Loknovsky 14th, and Santiago Niza into P15. So the Spaniard into the top 15. We don't see him often in the points in race 1. There he is once again. Yeah, look at this. Gaia leads by 0.7 of a second from Simracing, and Simracing has started to make a bit of a break here. Is Muscat now is hooking onto the back of Mikko Sukas, the one-stopper, the only other one-stopper from this race. Will Muscat make a late dive into turn 1? I think he will. Sukas isn't going to waste his luck here, or will he? Sukas going to try and hold on around the outside here. Into turn 3 we go. Yeah, I think Sukas breaks away there. He knows that's not his fight. So Scat into P5. And Mikko Sukas down to P6, though considering where he started, the Finn will be pretty happy with P6 on his return. And I tell you what, for Centurion, that's huge. That almost halves their deficit to Basilia as Siggy. Oh. Yeah, oh, okay, so he hit the mark. Oh dear, Siggy. What on earth happened to you? Oh dear. And, well, Bruno Sousa Ferreira, I'm not sure what more he could have done there. He stayed to the very inside. And that's Siggy's race done and dusted, isn't it? He'll surely have to pit. Yep. Oh, Siggy. Oh, watch out! What was he thinking? He needs to come in slower than that. Well, I said there wasn't much of a retirement rate and there wasn't many casualties throughout this race, but they're all starting to go. It's all kicking off as Simicic is now right. Oh, he's almost through a Gaia. Oh, he almost tried it through turn 3, up into turn 4 we go now. Let's see what Simicic can do, and look at Philip Pushka as well, trying to get his way through. So Pushka P3, Muscat P4, Sukas is up into P5 again, Parker P6, De Vries P7, Bracken P8, Veris for P9, and Fan Lopez is now into the top 10, but Gaia holding on for his very life. Lap 37 of 40, at the end of this lap he'll have 3 laps to go. Will he be able to even hold on for these 3 laps though? I'm not sure. The pendulum is very much swinging the way of Simicic and Pushka now, and especially with no Siggy in between there to make any mistakes. Oh dear, it's not looking so good for Gaia. Possibly looking good for a podium, I would say, absolutely. Which is much better than what Gaia was expecting. But oh, he's struggling. He is really struggling now. We're almost on to 20 laps for the... I think we're okay. Yep, okay, sorry about that. I think I've just lost connection to R Factor. So, no images, but anyway, I'm sure there's lots of good stuff going on. See, this is when you really need a commentator. So yeah, I shall be back with you very shortly. I'll keep an eye on live races to try and make some sense of it. Laptop's gone as well. I must apologise, folks. Right. Loading back. Right, so I'm just hearing, thank you very much, Dave, still in the room. So De Vries has just overtaken Parker around the outside of turn 3, so I would imagine that for P6, P7? Right, P6, right, session closed. I'm going to have to come in as a spectator. Lovely. So that will be crucial for the championship, remember, because Muscat is in that bad position. I think this is one of... God, it must have been so many races since Muscat was ahead of De Vries in the pecking order, actually. Because De Vries has been on such good consistent form, but it was just an unfortunate incident from Gagzella, really, that made sure that he didn't have much luck. Right, loading back in now. Hopefully I'll be able to guide you through to the rest of this race. It is Simicic. No, not Simicic, sorry. It is Gaia leading from Simicic and Pushka, the two faster guys, still unable to get past Gaia. We then have Muscat P4 and Miko Sukas still holding it in P6. Oh, sorry, P5. And now I am back in. Excellent. Look at Gaia, though. This is hero driving. Lap 39 of 40 are on. The penultimate lap. And Simicic and Pushka are still unable to get past. Absolutely. Oh. This is one of the best drives of the season. I tell you what, we've not seen much overtaking today. This may not have been the most interesting to watch visually for on-track action. But when it comes to strategy... Gaia has certainly pulled a fantastic card in the form of getting a podium here. But he has got to hold on for dear life now. Simicic, is he going to make a move here? Yes, he is. He's going to try and dive through. Gaia tries to hold on. Oh, but I think Simicic may have it. He's going to try and stay up there, Gaia. And he forces Simicic wide. He tries to keep on the outside. Gaia. Oh, no, 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 no. They're still going side by side, but I think that's game over. I think that is absolutely game over for the lead. And oh, he's struggling. Gaia is absolutely struggling. And here comes Philip Pushka now. And I think as... Oh, no! Oh, no, no, no! It's all gone wrong! It's all gone wrong! And Gaia, trying to defend off Pushka, was also... he got sandwiched in then. I don't... it's hard to say whether it was his fault or not. But yeah, Simracing then retakes the lead of this race, and Gaia, oh my word, 21 laps on these tyres. It shows, doesn't it? It shows, and Filip Puška behind, desperately trying to get through. We'll keep these three to the end, because this is absolutely fascinating stuff. Into the chicane we go, out the chicane we go. And I fear that Puška's going to have to just bear with Gaia for the moment and potentially try and do what Simracing was able to do the lap before. Back marker gets out the way nicely. Thank you very much, Mr. Back marker. And Puška out of this corner is looking much better as he's going to have to make a little bit of a dive, I think. Here he comes. He tries it, but he can't do it. And I fear that may be game over for Puška in second place. Gaia tries his best to get round. But anyway, on debut, what a backup driver this is. Jerne Simracing from pole position calls the strategy right and takes the win. The one-stopping Florian Gaia. What a fantastic event for him. P2 with Filip Puška P3. Jason Muscat rounds the final corner to come home P4. Mikko Sukas, another one-stopper. Excellent race for him on his return. P5 halves the deficit for Centurion to Scuderia Basilia ahead. Sven de Vries, after dramas early on, comes home P6 with Tom Parker just coming home. Is Parker letting his own team man through? Tom Parker struggling. Is he going to cross the line? Just about. Parker P7, Bracan P8, Scott Beresford P9, Van Lopez P10. Kevin Siggy, despite losing his front wing, comes home P11. A real shame for the Austrian there, but really unlucky. Dowie Tapper P12, Adrian McNaughton. Could McNaughton get Tapper here, actually? It's going to be close. No, Tapper does come home ahead of him. McNaughton, Loknowski P14, and then Niza P15. But the interesting positions there, for sure, will be the reverse grid positions of De Vries, who's almost guaranteed an excellent position. So he's in completely the right place. Parker, Bracan also in there. Beresford also in there. He provides some great entertainment. He was in the reverse grid in Hockenheim 2 weeks ago. And Fran Lopez, always one to watch out for from the reverse grids, as he can provide a little bit of a surprise. Right. If any of you, I think I'm going to leave and come back in proper mode now because I can see the tyres. If any of you have got any comments on the race that has been, then please do share them via Twitter at KirkyLife or hashtag GPVWC. I'm getting lonely in the box. I've got Dave. But we want some of your thoughts. You can be the co-commentators for today. And actually, to be fair, once we've got this reverse grid sorted out, then actually, let's get that sorted out now, shall we? Perhaps you can ask me or tell me who you reckon's going to be the winner for race 2. So let us have a look at the reverse grid. Remember, your candidates are De Vries, Parker, Bracan, Beresford and Lopez. And actually remember, Bracan as well. Very good from reverse grids from what we've seen. He was in the reverse grid with Scott Beresford at Hockenheim, and he took his first podium in Supercup. And so, before the summer break, the last reverse grid race position is number 6. So for Sven de Vries, that could not have gone any better if he tried. So it'll be Sven de Vries on pole position from Mikko Sukas, from Jason Muscat, from Filip Puška, from Florian Gaia, from Jerne Simracing. Who will win that? Well, if I know Lewis very well, and I know for sure who Lewis would put his money on, that's for sure. Right, let's just get back into the room. Rightio. Into warm-up. So, 5 minutes or so of stuff. Remember, if you want to tweet me, then so on, so on, so on. You know the drill. Right, so let's have a look here. Yeah, I would absolutely. It'd be hard to rule out Sven de Vries for the race win here, but that said, you look at the guys behind him. I mean, Mikko Sukas. I don't think we've seen Mikko Sukas on the front row this season. I know he only took part in 3 rounds, but he was always there in the 4th or 5th position. Perhaps this is a chance for him to get a podium. It'll be his first podium since last year, I think, anyway. But I tell you what, actually. One of the interesting things about race 2 from what I can see here is Gaia made those tyres last. He was absolutely the person with the best tyre wear out of that field. And he made the harder compound tyres last 22 laps. The sprint race is 23 laps. So I think we're going to be seeing a huge variance of strategy here. I would not bet against Sukas and Gaia going prime tyre again. For the majority of the field, though, I reckon we're going to see a pit stop option. We've seen that a couple of times this year. Usually, the guys like Parker and Gaxella are the ones who try it, and we saw that in Spain, for example, and it actually worked out pretty well for them. But yeah, goodness knows what's going to go on. I'm actually going to ask and see how good Gaia's tyre wear was by the end of this. How close were you to tyre exploding? Just out of interest, I want to see how close he was, because if he could go until lap 23, then I don't see any reason why himself and Sukas shouldn't be able to go onto the primes. Michael saying his personal best lap was on the prime tyre, which is that's not surprising for Mike, actually. Interesting. Okay, so Gaia tells me here, and I made sure that it's over private message so that nothing gets out or anything, but yes, I shall tell you the interesting information once we enter the race, for fear of spreading news to other managers. Let's see whether we've had any tweets, actually. Because I haven't checked the hashtag. You guys have been hiding hashtags for me, then I'm going to be very cross. Tell you what, Lewis is going to be getting a right scolding from me. Okay, so Ben Willis asks, any reason as to why it's so hard to pass at the Hungarian? Noticed it yesterday in Formula Challenge. Well, as I said, I think it was during the race, potentially. It's just a combination of things. The corners at the Hungarian don't lend themselves well to overtaking anyway. They are very much fast corners, or corners which you don't have to brake much at. I'd say the best overtaking spots are obviously turn 1, and oh god, I don't even know which turn it is. But basically the turn where Simracing got Gaia at. You know, that's got a relatively good braking zone, and if you get a good launch out of the previous corner, then it serves you well. But everything else is actually pretty relatively either tap on the brakes or just, you know, modulating the throttle round stuff. And also you've got to keep in mind that because Hungarian's one of these classic tracks, it's really, really tight. So even if they wanted to make lovely, fabulous, you know, over-the-top passes, it would be putting their car at huge risk, because it's very hard to fit 2 cars round most of these corners without them touching in some way. So that's why it's so hard to pass at the Hungaroring, and that's why track position does mean a lot. Why I would straight away say Sven de Vries is in with a good chance of winning. Though that said, he will have to make a pit stop. So perhaps Gaia and Sukas are worth looking out for as well. Hello to @Spud4000 or Turbo Ducky. Where's Mr. McGlade? You know what, Turbo Ducky? I wish I could say. In the past, he's had a power cut. That was at the Belgian Supercup round last year. For the final round of last year, he fell asleep. That was interesting. But there could be some other reason. He might be out with family who couldn't tell me. His internet could be pulled out. He could be having a haircut. God, Lewis McGlade having a haircut, that'd be the day, wouldn't it? Who knows, Turbo Ducky? Who knows? I wish I could tell you. Only Mr. McGlade could tell you, though. So it's probably worth asking him. Bit of Oh, that's an interesting point. I wonder whether Mike will try red tyres all the way. That would be funny. But anyway, as to who's going to win this race once again, Sven de Vries is hard to put your money on.
Non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
But, and this is a very big but. Right, let's have a look at who's going on what compound of tyre here. Again, I'm not going to say until everyone's onto the grid. Just for fear of people doing last changes. And so those guys, I know there's some of you guys listening. I know you're out there. Don't expect me to say anything. As, oh, Pavel Loknovsky's gone. And that's a shame as well, because he would have had a decent position. Right then, so we are on the formation lap. And it is Sven de Vries leading us off on the prime compound tyre, interestingly enough. He's followed by Mikko Sukas, also on the prime compound tyre. Jason Muscat is in third on the option tyre, so he will have to pit. Philip Pushka's on the prime compound tyre, so he's going to try and make it to the end. That's going to be a stretch. And Florian Gaia, we know he can make it to the end. He said that on his prime compound tyres at the end of last race, he had another 2 or 3 laps on them. Make what you will of that. Perhaps Sukas was the same. Jerne Simoncic going on the option tyre. He'll have to pit. And for Tom Parker in P7, though, he usually does this strategy. Reece Bracan starts on the prime compound tyre, doing essentially what Scott Beresford isn't doing this time, which is strange for Scott. He's going to be pitting on the option tyre. Fran Lopez is on option in P10 for positive, with Kevin Siggy behind him also on the option, and also for positive. David Tapper's P12 for the prime compound tyre, so he's going to try and make it to the end, with Adrian McNaughton P13 on the option tyre, so the two Stormers are going to go option. Santiago Niza is P14 for Street Fighter on the primes, with Mike Bell P15 on the option tyres, as we were expecting. Roy Verzel P16 on the prime compound tyre for Fox, with Yuri Ojano P17 for Scuderia Basilia on the options. Patrick Hayward starts P18 on the prime compound tyre for Multiforce, with Ollie Pelkin and P19 on the primes for FA. Aaron Evening rounds out the top 20 for Mazurek on the prime compound tyre, with Jonathan Othaksen P21 for Satellite on the primes. And then Klontz P22 for Multiforce on the primes, with Dan Rusu for Centurion P23 on the primes. P24 is Waters Automotive's Alexander van der Woude on the prime compound tyre, with the Manuel Gagzella also... Oh, interestingly, sorry. Both Storms are not on the option tyre. Manuel Gagzella is going to try the prime compound tyre this time. P25 for Storm. Luke Zolk is going to go option for Scuderia Basilia in P26, with Jarl Tyen back in the waters. Starting from pit lane, interestingly, on the prime tyre. He'll be P27. Christoph Lichtenstein will be P28 for Fox Racing on the prime compound tyre. And, of course, we are missing Pavel Loknovsky for FA Racing and someone else. I don't know who it is. Oh, well. Probably not that important. Sorry, not important person. Sven de Vries says hello there. Hello, Sven. You can't hear me. I'm focusing on commentating. But let's see whether Sven de Vries can make it. He thinks he's going to try. Let's see whether the dice rolls lucky, as it has done so many times this season for the American. We look to lights now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and here for the second time in Hungary. We're off and away, and look at Muscat! What a start from Jason Muscat! Lightning, and off into lead he goes. Mikko Sukas also gets a good start and is up ahead of Sven de Vries and being hurtled down to turn 1. I tell you what, Muscat having those option tyres, he's got to make them work well now as Simicic in the background mounting the curbs. Sven de Vries on the inside of Sukas, probably going to defend into turn 3 here. Indeed he does. Kevin Siggy also got a lightning start. Up from P11 into P4 is Siggy. Goodness me. Going to P5, Parker P6, Bracan P7, Lopez P8, Simicic P9 and Gaia falls all the way down to P10, so an awful start from Florian Gaia. Sukas though got away well, but I reckon he's going to want to say, look, you know, these option guys behind me, I can let them go because they are much, much faster. Look at Kevin Siggy almost mounting the rear of Sukas as we head through the twisty section once again. But mind you, Sven de Vries, we have yet to see what his prime tyre life is like. Muscat though races off into the lead. The gap currently 1.1 seconds between the front two, and here comes Kevin Siggy into the yep, he gets him into the small right-hander here, and Sukas quickly falling down the order. He's got to fight for position now because he's got Pushka behind him. That is most definitely for position though. Again, we don't know how far Pushka can go. It looks like Pushka and de Vries are taking quite a big risk by going onto the prime tyre, but at the end of lap 1, it's Muscat from de Vries, Siggy, Sukas, Pushka, Parker, Simicic, Lopez, Bracan and Gaia rounding out your top 10. Though we can see here Sukas under heavy pressure from Philip Pushka, and into turn 1 we go. Pushka's through and Parker's going to try and muscle his way through as well. Indeed he has, so Parker on the option tyre, remember, makes it through and he's going to try and dive through. And Philip Pushka here, goodness me, on the move, and here comes Jerne Simicic now around the outside and Mikko Sukas. Mikko lets him go perhaps wisely once again, and now he's got Fran Lopez on the back of him. The option tyre runners absolutely, whoa, through turn 4 goes Fran Lopez. That was brave. That was very brave, and Mikko Sukas plummeting down the order. Though how far down the order he goes, we're not too sure, because remember, these are all option runners. And now Scott Beresford right onto the back of Sukas as well. Florian Gaia there in P10, not actually that far behind Sukas. And those are the two we've got to keep an eye out for as Maurice Bracan knuckles his way through Adrian McNaughton, or defends off McNaughton at least, as we look to Scott Beresford going on the inside of Sukas. Again, Sukas seemingly lets Beresford away with it. And, well, Sukas losing a bucket full of positions here, because here comes Florian Gaia now right onto the back of the fin, and poor old Sukas, he's having a right state of things. The Simicic looks on the inside of Parker. Sukas holds on to P9 though, and oh, look at de Vries here, P2 and 3, de Vries versus Siggy, and oh, I think de Vries can't really win this one, can he? Siggy around the outside, nice and clean. The gap we are looking for, remember, is roughly 20 seconds, as old Simicic, oh, what happened to him there? He fell about 3 positions, and oh yeah, he had to avoid, he broke a bit late there, and he falls down to P10 behind the battling Gaia and Sukas, and oh, Gaia around the outside of Sukas, lovely move there from the German, and now Simicic right up behind. Oh, it's a bottle cork effect, isn't it? This is awful to watch. It's not awful to watch in terms of entertainment, but it's really painful to see guys just kind of like, oh, I want to go through there, but I want to go through there, but I want to go through there. It's terrifying at times. But yeah, remember, the gap that we are looking for is 20 seconds as Emmanuel Gaxella retires once again. His season goes from bad for worse, and he's left a real sour taste in the mouth as he leaves for the July summer break. Meanwhile, Simicic right on the back of Sukas for P9 and 10. Adrian McNaughton right in there as well. McNaughton on the option tyres, and oh, ahead, sorry. Tom Parker almost crashing into the back of someone there as Simicic goes through on Sukas, but Sukas holds off McNaughton well enough. Sukas falling down the order. It's probably worth watching him just to see him fall down the order, because everyone's pretty much overtaking him. His pace has completely disappeared. But Muscat leads by 2 seconds, and Siggy's actually starting to catch Muscat back up. The gap between Muscat and de Vries, by the way, 3 seconds. So it's 3 seconds over 3 laps. We're expecting de Vries to pit perhaps halfway through, which is lap... actually, no, sorry, de Vries is on the prime tyre, isn't he? Yeah, so... So yeah, we're expecting Muscat and Siggy, to pit by about halfway through, which is about 11 or 12, so that'd be 11 or 12 seconds. That said though, de Vries will certainly be hurting by the end. So it could swing to and fro. I think Siggy and Muscat are going to have to get their move on if they're going to want to have any chance to win this race. Though Pushka in 4th, doing well enough. Also on the prime tyre, Lopez in 5th on the option tyre, just trying to do what he can with Parker and Beresford on the same compounds. Then we have Gaia in 8th. The highest placed runner who we know can absolutely make it to the end. He's currently 7.2 seconds off Muscat. Will it work out for him? I'm not too sure. Simoncic is in 9th, and I reckon Gaia will probably let Simoncic go, just for safety's sake. McNaughton P10, Sukas P11, and in the world of his own reading P11 now, as Maurice Bracken's in P12, holding off the likes of Bell, Tapper, Ogiano, who's made a very good start actually having to P15, and Roy Virgil also there. Oh, pardon me, there or thereabouts in P16. Indigestion, not really good for you during commentating, is it? And he's going to try and hook onto the back of this barrel here as David Tapper looks to the inside of, to the outside of Mike Bell. Switch his position there. And oh, Virgil! Oh no! How on earth they did not collide, I will not know. But thankfully they don't. Retirement so far, Emmanuel Gaxella, he's the only one. Jarl Tyen also miles behind, so the aggressive racers not really doing as well as Mike Bell gets overtaken by Tapper around the outside of turn 3 there. Lovely move from Tapper. Oh, and Beresford here is past Parker. Lovely move from the Englishman and Parker. What on earth is going on there? Okay, he let Gaia go, and in doing so, he let Simoncic and McNaughton go as well. So Parker's strategy of trying to let someone go didn't really go to plan. I think it would have been better let him go in another part of the track, perhaps. So, let's look at where we are here. That 5 of 23. Muscat and Siggy are out on their own. De Vries is there or thereabouts with Philip Pushka, and I actually think Philip Pushka is starting to catch De Vries back up. Lopez is definitely catching two of them up, and then you've got Beresford there as well, and then you have Guy behind. Oh, who was that going off? Oh, it's Parker. Oh, and Parker, well, that's him out of the order. Yep, and indeed he retires, he gives up from that race. So Guy into 7th, Simoncic 8th, McNaughton 9th, Sukas back into the top 10, Bracan 11th, Bell 12th. But he's still got Dawe Tapper for company. Looking on the inside of him is Dawe Tapper. Into turn 1 we go. And Tapper has to back out. Yuri Ogiano into P14 and Roy Virgil into P15. Could be points for those two struggling teams. But let's have a little look. Oh yeah, that Muscat and Siggy are not pulling away like they should. 4.2 seconds the gap between Muscat and De Vries. It should be a lot bigger than that by now. Of course, the one variable we keep on forgetting this is, well, firstly, we know about the tyre problems, but look at this here. Pushka could yet throw another rabbit into the hat here, because he is cruising up to the back of De Vries essentially, and he could yet cause the American problems simply by holding him up through battling. Indeed, here we go into sector 3. Yeah, the German right on the back of the American. This technically should be for the race lead, but we just don't know. Into the final corner we go now. Heading onto lap 7 of 23 we go. Over a third of the way through this race. The gap between De Vries and Pushka is 0.4 of a second. Will Pushka make a late stab into turn 1? Oh, he's going to go for it, isn't he? Into the inside of De Vries he goes. But De Vries gets a lovely exit out of turn 1 and through turn 2 and into turn 3 we go now. I've been getting my turns wrong, haven't I? This is turn 3, next is turn 4, so it's turn 5 up at the brow, isn't it? Silly James, you should get your corners right. You should learn your corners before the track, actually. And yeah, what this is doing is this is allowing Fran Lopez to catch up even more. And you can see there, De Vries and Pushka lost a second to Muscat within one sector. And this could yet prove the difference between winning and losing for these two. And it will use up more tyre wear for that as well. We then have Lopez P5, Beresford P6, Simoncic P7, and Gaia. Well, Gaia's gone back in on this, hasn't he? He's P8. And he's actually gone past McNaughton of all the things. But McNaughton is visibly faster, surely. Actually, no, sorry. No, Simoncic has overtaken Gaia, hasn't he? Now this is going to be McNaughton overtaking Gaia. Because then it'll be the two prime runners until the end in 9th and 10th. Gaia trying his best to defend, but I wonder whether that's a good strategy. Sure, you should just let him go. As that hit song from Frozen said. Meanwhile, oh wow! Sorry, looking down in P13 and 14, this is getting really scrappy. Oh dear! Contact between Tapper and Ogiano. These guys are getting really scrappy. But yeah, sorry, Siggy and where's Siggy and De Vries? Oh no, it's De Vries and Pushka. Sorry, Pushka on the inside of De Vries. And Pushka's trying to muscle his way past around the outside of turn 4 here. Oh, he's done it. What a move from Philip Pushka. Lovely stuff from the German. And Pushka, we think, inherits the lead of this race. And oh dear, a bit of a tank slap there from De Vries as he mounted the curbs. But also look ahead here. Kevin Siggy's right on the back of Muscat as well. So plenty of battling still to go on here. Pushka, though, I think he's definitely the faster driver, isn't he? And De Vries is now going to have to worry about Scott Beresford. Look at Scott Beresford. He's caught up massively to Fran Lopez after the last couple of laps. And these two could prove very problematic for Pushka and De Vries. Mind you, though, they've got to pit very soon. Because we're looking at them pitting about lap 11 or 12, and it's lap 8 already. Got to get a bit of a wriggle on. Meanwhile, Adrian McNaughton has gotten past Florian Gaia, so Gaia and Sukas are now 9th and 10th as Beresford pits. Interesting. Early stop from Beresford, perhaps trying to get the undercut on his rivals. Surely he's going to go onto the option tyre. It'd be foolish not to. So past goes Gaia, past goes Sukas, that's a free position for them. Past goes Bracan as well, who's onto the prime tyre. But we think he may have to pit. Past goes Bell, Ogiano, Verzil, Tapper, and so Beresford is well out of the points. We'll see his plight later on in the race. Meanwhile, Muscat and Siggy still very close together, as are Pushka and De Vries. Lopez, now without the worry of Beresford behind him, can focus to try and catch up to De Vries, or maybe not, because Jerne Simincic is right behind him as well and catching up at a rate of knots once again. But yeah, if Beresford's pitting this early, I wonder whether that's going to force other people into an early stop, because Beresford's very much laid down his marker and said, look, this is when I'm stopping, and I'm just going to check whether he's in clean air. Oh, he's in plenty of clean air as well. That's not going to trouble him one bit. Good stop from the TSA boys, that's for sure. Let's have a look here. Nope, so Muscat and Siggy go around again, so they'll head on to lap 10 of 23. Pushka and De Vries obviously going to go around again. Fran Lopez, interesting. Fran Lopez pits early again. And yeah, so this is in direct response to Scott Beresford's surely. Jerne Simincic then goes around into P5. Adrian McNaughton goes into P6. And then, of course, Gaia and Sukas will go around again there. Right, sorry about that, everyone. See, the one time we had my co-commentator not here, everything goes wrong. Everything. So, again, I can't see what's going on. Right, sorry about that, everyone. Right, okay, what happened? I can hear you okay now, what happened? Right, so Siggy just took the lead around apparently I'm hearing that he took the lead and then he dropped it around turn 5. Dave, is there damage? Is he retired? What's going on? Right, so Siggy's running in P5 now, no damage, but that is very much Siggy's strategy out the window. And once again, falling foul to turn 5. That turn 5 has proved problematic for so many drivers, and it's the problem with wings here. You want a high wing deficit so that you're able to make it around the corners nicely and you won't have so much tyre wear. But then again, that one corner, because it's over a brown, because there's so much undulation, you suddenly have the problem of, if you go too fast around there, you are just going to drop it. And so, just heading back into the server now. Unfortunately, I won't be able to get the lap count, so I'll have to try my best to. And what lap are we on, Dave? Right, so we're on lap 11, 12 to go, good, so actually no, so it's lap 12, isn't it, the leaders? Yeah, it's lap 12, yeah, okay. 12, lap 12, 12 to go, all good. So, Muscat leads from Pushka and De Vries on those prime compound tyres. Then it's Kevin Siggy, Jernej Simoncic, Adrian McNaughton up into P6 on the option tyre though, remember. And then Florian Guys up into P7, Miko Sukas into P8, Maurice Bracan P9, and Mike Bell still on the option tyre in P10. Goodness knows how this is going to end up. I have no idea whatsoever. Your retirement so far. You have Darren Parker. I'm sure there's someone else as well. I'm sure there's 28. But yes, surely Muscat to pit soon, because we are reaching that time, aren't we? Muscat goes round again. I mean, I guess the one theory you could say is that you can stretch the tyres out to, what, lap 14 or 15? But do you want to really leave it that late? Olli Pelkonen, that's the other retirement. Or is he just retired? No, he's just retired, apologies. Meanwhile, Philip Pushka and De Vries obviously go round again. Kevin Siggy, he does pit though. So in he comes along with Simoncic. So here, look, Gaia and Sukas, they rise back up the order once again. Gaia into P4 and Miko Sukas into P5. And Bracan into P6 as well. Kevin Siggy and Jernej Simoncic come out side by side pretty much. And they come out ahead of Bell as well. So Siggy into 7th and Simoncic into 8th. They're probably going to be safe there. I'd imagine anyway. We now look to Jason Muscat, and more importantly, Philip Pushka and Sven De Vries. Muscat will have to pit again. We know this. Philip Pushka and De Vries, though, they are the wild cards. They have thrown all their dice onto the fact that they can potentially make it to the end on the prime compound tyre. I am sceptical, though. I am really sceptical. Lap 13 of 23. And in comes Muscat. We were expecting this. Where are Pushka and De Vries, though? Obviously, they're going to try and go round again. And we'll keep an eye on where Muscat comes as well. So Pushka takes the lead of this race on lap 14 of 23. 10 laps to go. Through goes Gaia onto the podium. And through comes Sukas and Bracan as well. Bracan, another person throwing his dice in onto the table. But look at where Muscat's come out, actually. Muscat is really not too far behind them, is he? And onto the option tyre as well. So Muscat could yet still provide a bit of a threat for the top 5. Diggy P7, Jernej Simoncic P8. Mike Bell still holding on in P9 on the option tyres. Rory Verzil P10. Klomp P11. Lopez P12. Niza P13. Neiman P14. And Dowie Tapper in P15. Another retirement. Oh, that's who. What happened to Adrian McNaughton? Oh. Adrian. He dropped it somewhere, surely. Oh. How weird. Oh, how strange. Oh, so he avoided Niza for some reason, then he just crashed into Beresford. Oh, so Beresford, that's the other guy who's fallen out of the top 10. Oh, dearie me. Oh, it's all gone pear-shaped for some of these drivers, hasn't it? But what's not going pear-shaped, for the moment at least, are the drives for Philip Pushka and Sven De Vries. P1 and P2, they go on to lap 15 of 23. 9 laps to go. Can they make it though? That's the question. If their option compound pace is to be suggested, they're going to be struggling right near the end. And let's just check how far. I'm just going to quickly go onto the internet here. I'll be lucky. See how far. I'm going to try. I wish there was timing for me now, but let's have a look at how far behind Gaia is, shall we? So, oh, there we go. Dave can just tell me. Good idea. So Dave is 7 seconds behind. So clearly it is do or die for De Vries or Pushka. Gaia's been able to hold up that compound, that hard compound tyre pace. And Sukas, how far behind Sukas is Ita Pushka? So Sukas is 11.5 seconds behind, and Brakan is completely with Sukas. So if this goes pear-shaped for Pushka and De Vries, then the podium sitters will be, well, Gaia and Sukas are pretty much guaranteed podiums at that rate. Brakan less so. We do not know about his pace, so perhaps Muscat on the podium. P3 on the option strategy. It could work. You never know, but Pushka and De Vries go on to nap 16 of 23. 8 to go. We are expecting, if there is to be any tyre drop-off from these prime tyres, to be around lap maybe 18 to 20 as Mike Bell... Oh, what happened there? Oh, it's a Menno Clont up into P10, and Mike Bell still going in P9 on the option tyres. Mind you, he can probably make it to lap 18, surely. But here comes Menno Clont, and I fear that Clont is going to get P9 here. Great drive back from the back of the grid, actually, from Clont, mind you. Into the points, and oh, Bell forces Clont out onto the curbing, and here comes Roy Verzil to try and get in on the action as well. Into turn 3 we go, and Roy Verzil around the outside, and well, he can't really do much because Bell is just planting his car here in all the right places, and Clont's going to have to try a bit harder if he wants to get past. But yeah, it is lap 16. So yeah, we're expecting, if Pushka and De Vries can't make it, perhaps 2-3 laps maybe. That's when I'm expecting their tyres to fall off the cliff. Round they go again. Just looking at the gaps here to lead. So if Pushka and De Vries were to pit now, they would probably join up behind Siggy and Simoncic to maybe P7 and 8. So still decent positions for sure. But certainly not as good as they were hoping. And I think they may very well have called the strategy wrong here, because you look how good Muscat's doing. If Pushka and De Vries fails, he's on the podium. And there's no doubt in my mind that Pushka and De Vries would have been able to keep with Muscat for sure. Gaia sits on his own with Sukas. Sukas has actually pulled out a little gap on Brakan in the time they've been them. But hey, look, there is Jason Muscat on that fresher compound and on the fresher option compound tyre as well. He could be in with a chance here. And I'm not just talking about getting the podium. He could very well overtake Sukas here and take P2. If everything goes pear-shaped for the leaders, of course. Let's have a look at the Bell train, shall we? Oh, dearie me. Yeah, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh dear. Michael Bell. Michael Bell. Let's have a look. Oh, can Clark get him around the outside? Oh, we still can't get him. Oh, dearie me. Oh, and there goes Lopez. Oh, what was he thinking? Oh, stupid driving again. I'll tell you what, there's been some real idiotic driving this round, I'll tell you what. And actually, oh, there goes Roy Verzil into the pits. He's had enough. Don't blame him at all. So Mike Bell stays in P9 ahead of Menno Clont. Dawi Tapper P11, Neiman in P12, Nees to P13. And it'll be Fran Lopez into P14, and it will take P15, Jarl Tyen into the top 15. Oh god, I've lost count of laps. What lap is it? This lap 17 of 23. It's gonna be hurting for Pushka and De Vries now. And actually looking at it, De Vries has started to really fall off the back of Pushka. I'm worried for them. I am really worried for them. So yeah, Gaia doing very, very nice indeed. Sukas ahead of Brakan. And here comes Muscat then. Muscat onto the back of Maurice Brakan into the small right hand that we go now. And I think Muscat may very well get these two. I don't think Guy is under threat here. But Muscat could be very well looking at a podium position out of just being there and being fast. He had a lot to thank when Siggy made his mistake, but he's done really well, Muscat. He's done, he got the perfect getaway, a good pit stop, and here he goes down the inside of Brakan. No, he can't do it. But he's probing, isn't he? He is probing. And we're on to lap 18 of 23 though. 5 laps to go. Is there enough time? Is there enough time? Around this circuit, time is of the essence. We've seen it in race 1. If you don't get past your main man first, then first and foremost and early on, then it suddenly becomes a whole different task. As meanwhile, back in the Bell train, clunked around the outside of Mike Bell. Around turn 3, what a wonderful move from the Dutchman there. Glad we caught that. Plont goes up into P9 ahead of Mike Bell, who's going to try and retort into turn 5. He can't though. And Bell visibly struggling now on those option tyres. Tapper all over him. And I fear Bell may fall down the order. I think he's still going to score points, hopefully. But he is struggling an awful lot. Pushka goes round again. De Vries goes round again. And look at the gap between Pushka and De Vries. How big is that gap? 2.8 seconds between the two of them is bonkers. Gaia all on his own. And then we look back to Sukas, Brakan and Muscat. Let's look to Muscat. See whether he can't make any sort of a move into turn 1 once again. Into turn 1 we go. And no, he just can't do it. Yeah, look at Sukas here. He's struggling as well. So Brakan starting to reel in Sukas as we go laggy once again. Apologies if you're seeing this on screen. And it's going to get tight, that's for sure. 4 laps to go, lap 19 of 23. Let's actually, out of interest, let's look at Muscat. Sorry, he was really catching up on Brakan through turn 5 there. Might have been a close call as Dawit Tapper gets past Mike Bell for P10. But yeah, Muscat's going to have to stay behind. The gap to the lead between Pushka and Guy is actually 9.3, so Pushka is actually extending it out. I think, I was worried for Pushka and Vries initially. They might just have this in the bag though. They might have made a couple of setup tweaks which enable them to go a bit further. And why not as well? They've been doing extremely well. Let's look to the battle for P5 and P6 here. Can Muscat mount a move again? 3 laps to go. And Muscat doesn't get a move on Brakan again. But interesting news from Dave Carr-Smith. Sven de Vries was 2.3 seconds slower than Florian Gaia last lap. And look at that gap. Florian Gaia is eating it up. It was just the live racers. Honestly. Gaia is starting to crawl back. Masses of time on the front runners here. And De Vries is well within sight already. All of a sudden, Florian Gaia is in with a chance of winning this race again. I think Mikko Sukas is a bit far behind to do anything, as is Brakan, especially with Jason Muscat for company. But Gaia, with 2.5 laps to go, could yet prove the surprise race winner here. Look at him, he's gaining so much time on De Vries. De Vries is struggling now, isn't he? Onto the start-finish straight we go now, onto lap 22 of 23. And yeah, De Vries, he can't even get around the final corner properly. Florian Gaia is now into P2. All he has to do is overtake Philip Pushka. But mind you, has Philip Pushka even lost that much time? I think Philip Pushkin might be okay, actually, looking at it. His tyres have got to fall off the cliff massively. Or he's got to make a mistake. But yeah, Philip Pushkin's at P5, turn 5, and Guy is nowhere near him. What De Vries has to watch out for is if Sukas and that train comes up to bite him. Oh. So, yeah. I think we'll address that another time. But there's certainly some politics going on behind the scenes, which we may very well go into after the summer break. But, well, we'll address it later anyway. Either way, it certainly looks like De Vries is going to be losing out to Sukas here. If not, whoa! Look at Siggy and Simicic as well as Muscat looks on the inside of Brakan. Oh, wow, really? I want to have a look at that, Sven. His tyre's gone. His tyre's gone completely. Yeah, no, I'd have to agree with you, Dave. I'm going to call it out now. De Vries is throwing the race. De Vries is throwing the race. He should have pitted. That's bad. I'm sorry. A commentator I may be. But yeah, anyway. Back to Siggy. He's in P7. And oh my word, through on Sukas. And really, oh really? Sukas down to P7. That's just rude. I mean, De Vries has essentially ruined Sukas's good work there. And he's now been shuffled down to P7. Completely not his fault. Completely not his fault. Brakan, though, he's in the lucky position of P3. Muscat, if he does get onto the podium, he'd probably deserve it. Brakan's trying to hold on for dear life. He's done a great job to defend. But here comes Muscat up the inside. Can't do anything. And here comes Simicic as well now. All four of these guys, Muscat, Simicic and Siggy, all within a second of each other. Ever so close. But perhaps we can look now to the leader, Philip Pushka. He's managed it as well. Really proven to us that when you put your mind to it, and with a couple of setup tweaks, you can make it to the end. And so, Philip Pushka takes the win at the Hungaroring, and he's going to be feeling good. More points gained on Sven De Vries. Florian Gaia comes home an excellent P2, and oh, the battle for the final podium place is looking ever so juicy, but I think it is just about for the second round in a row. Maurice Brakan just about gets the podium. Great job from the German, wonderful drive. Jason Muscat 4th, Journey Simicic 5th, Siggy 6th, Miko Sukas very unlucky to be P7, not his fault at all. And there will be words after, I'm sure. Menoklont P8, David Tapper P9, Sven De Vries, naughty boy. And there will be some words, I'm absolutely certain, P10. I know I've been told, don't go on about, people sending in protests and whatnot, but that was dangerous driving. Just from a general point of view, that was dangerous. He should have pitted the lap before if he knew his tyre was going to burst. That's more general safety procedure than anything. Fran Lopez comes on P11. Ari Neelan, actually. Fair play to him from the back of the grid, P12. Yuri Giano, P13. Luke Salk, actually, also from the back of the grid. Points on debut, P14. And Mike Bell, all the way to the end on the option tyre. An absolute madman. But he does come home, P15. So, plenty to talk about here. Absolutely plenty. Very eventful. Again, apologies for the problems throughout the broadcast today. Simply put, internet and co-commentators not turning up to do their job. This is what happens. It was never going to be an easy season. It was never going to go clean all the way through. And there you go. You've got a month to relax now. And well, what might not have been as interesting a race in terms of overtaking was certainly an interesting race in terms of strategy. I've never seen strategy dictate a race so much, and fair play to Florian Gaia. Played it wonderfully well, did the German, and thoroughly deserves all the points he got today, actually. Then hopefully we'll have a couple of interviewers, or interviewees I should say. Or maybe not. We'll give them a minute or so. If no one turns up, then we'll wrap up shop. So I'll just have a little check of the Twitters. TSA Racing saying, so I don't want to give away our competitors' secrets. Damn, must try harder. TSA Racing, you can perhaps tempt me with some Freddos? I don't know. Ice cream? Ben and Jerry's, that'd be a good temptation. And he says, on the plus side, at least Scott Bezer isn't in the Bell train right now. Absolutely not. And also, crucially, Scott Bezer did finish P16 in the end. So any incurrent penalties, which he will be in a good position at least to benefit from that. Oh, here we go. So we do at least have one interview, and I would actually put you down as star of the day. Florian Gaia, 2 podiums with what must be said, a brilliant strategy. You were able to make the one-stop work extremely well. It was P2, sorry, even in race 1, P2 in race 2. Don't think it could have got much better for you.
Yeah, thank you. The qualifying was okay with P5. I was quite near my maximum lap anyway, so yeah, I must be happy with that. The start was okay in race 1. I was stuck behind Jason and Gaxella, I think. Yeah, I was just following their pace to my pit stop, which I could, I could stay out quite long, longer than I thought. And this enabled me to, I was behind Jason after the stop, but he was 2-stopping. This enabled me to get on the podium. I was ahead of, who was it? The owner is Simracing. He was right up behind me for so many laps. And I could stay ahead of him, but I think it was second to last lap. He just braked very late up the inside and pushed me wide. I'm not happy about that because I could have won that first race. But P2 was still good. The second race, I didn't have the best start and was in the mix, in the midfield. But it was all good and clean. I managed to get ahead of some other prime runners, which was crucial. And the other option guys, they had to pit, and I could stay out quite easily. And got Sven in the end, who was struggling, I think, with tire wear. And Philip was 2 laps away from me.
Well, I mean, you very much establish yourself as the guy to look to when it comes to good tire wear. Do you think that's going to benefit you at any other tracks, or not so much?
It would benefit me if the races would be as long as last year. I think those sprint races hurt me a lot because I'm not that guy for 1 lap or a couple of quick laps. I'm rather for the long run, which made me struggle early in the season. And now it's a bit better, but still the race 1 suits me much more. Now it's the summer break, I think. Spa up next, so gonna be quite fun. Great track. The tire wears down to the setup, or to my driving style more.
But anyway, it was certainly a fantastic event for you, and do enjoy the summer break. You very much deserve it.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. And I think on that note, we shall say good night to you all. It has been a roller coaster ride for Super Cup so far. Crazy from end to end. And we certainly hope that you lot will be joining us in a month when we return in August to head to one of my personal favourite tracks. I think I might just do a quick cheeky check of the calendar. I think it's one of my favourite tracks anyway. Just don't want to get it wrong. Should we set up all this? Dave, is it Spa? Yes, it is Spa. Excellent. Spa, Frankenshire, certainly one of my favourite tracks. And we had a very interesting race there last time as well. Hopefully Lewis will be back with me. But fret not, we certainly have some events to keep you occupied while we're in this downtime at GPVWC. Of course, you can join Simon Smith tomorrow, the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's bound to be a good one. And the big event during July on the 19th, this Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. The Indianapolis 500 round for the Masters. That's going to be crazy. I'm not sure whether we're going to have a broadcast or not. I think we're going to be making it happen. If not, then why don't you join in yourself? It's an open qualifying. The top 33 drivers' times, I think, go through. Go and check the forums for details. And if you haven't got involved in with GPVWC before, then that event certainly will be a good one to watch. So, just to wrap up here, I'd like to thank my cameraman, spotter, and keeping me in the know while I wasn't in the server at all times, Dave Carr Smith, for the incredible job he's not just done today, but for the entire first half of the season. I've been James Kirk, and we'll see you in a month. From all of us here, it's a very warm goodbye.